one thing that I did have to learn on my mission was how the Spirit talks to me. Going into my mission, like, you read all your friends' emails, and it took me a while to realize that what you read in their emails is like the highlight reel from their week. Like, they're giving you all the best points. So I remember when I first got to my mission, I'd go through my week, or actually through my day, and I'd be like, where are these super awesome spiritual experiences that I read in all my friends' emails? Like, why aren't I having these? So it took me a while to understand that, like, how the Spirit communicates with me isn't how the Spirit communicates with my friends. That it's something individual to me, and also that what I'm reading in their emails is the best of their week, not the average that, I have every day. Like, I'm also going to write the best experiences in my emails home. But one experience that I love that has really stuck with me, and I, shared it in my homecoming, and I think every time that I've spoken since then, I was about a year out in my third area, and it was in an international branch because it was a coastal city, and a lot of expats would come live in the south of Spain just because it's super nice weather, which is hard to find in Europe. It's just warm and sunny. So they'd come down and, live by the beach. And so we were serving in this international ward that we would have to translate each week. And one of the members from England brought a friend that she met the other week who was from Belgium, named Beatrice. And Beatrice was super smart, but English was like her fourth language. She didn't speak Spanish. And my companion was from Ecuador, and he didn't speak English. So we would teach her right after church because she could only come on Sundays. So we'd go on splits, and I'd have this old member that was from Ireland, and another member would be my companion, so that I could teach this lady in English because my companion couldn't really help. And so we'd have to teach super slow and super basic, which is good because English was, like I said, like her fourth language. So we were teaching her about the Book of Mormon and, following up on what she read. And so towards the end of the lesson, I was like, all right, Beatrice, like, do you have any questions, anything that I can clarify or explain better, anything that you're confused on? And she kind of just like paused for a minute and like thought about it, kind of like looked down at the Book of Mormon and was like thumbing through it. And she was like, I don't always understand like what you guys are telling me. Like, sometimes it goes over my head, or like we don't communicate well. But she said, but I do know what I feel when I read in the Book of Mormon and when you guys teach me, and I know that it feels good. And this was like in broken English, but it was just super special to me to think that it's not my words that are teaching her, that are helping her like come closer to Christ, but it's the Spirit, and that doesn't need a language to communicate. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm speaking English and she barely understands English, that the Spirit can testify of what she's reading and what she's hearing, and that she can still know all the same that it's true. If I could go back and see Beatrice and make sure that she's still reading the Book of Mormon, I used to keep in really good contact with her. I haven't emailed her in, it's probably been 2 or 3 months. So I'd probably just give her a hug since I can now. Give her a hug, tell her I love her, and, tell her thank you for being allowed to teach her, and, just ask how things are going. Just continue to be her missionary and be a friend, and, help her if she's struggling with someone, just with something. Just doing what I can to help. Just letting her know that she had support. How my testimony grew from my mission. I don't think it broadened a whole bunch as far as like learning new doctrine, but like my roots got a lot stronger. Like my testimony about like the basics and how important they were, especially seeing like members that were strong and then, stopped reading their scriptures or whatever. Like, there's such Sunday school answers, like pray, read your scriptures, go to church, pay tithing. Like, you're like, yeah, duh. But just seeing like how important those actually are, and like the difference they make in your life when you do them on a daily basis, that testimony just got really strong about those daily habits that, keep you on the straight and narrow, and just how much joy the gospel brings you. Like, it was really easy just to walk down the street and like see people that just didn't look happy, and then you go to the church and like the people in the church, their struggles weren't any different from people on the street, but like they just had a different look in their face, and you knew that it was the gospel. And like when we would get rejected on the street, and you're like, yeah, that sucks, but like I'm still happy, like I'm so glad to be out here. And I think it's just because I came to know like how much happiness living the gospel brought, and how beautiful the message was. One of the biggest spiritual lessons, I think, was probably being humbled and learning that I was pretty insignificant, like as far as my part in the missionary work. So in one of my areas, I had a companion. We were together for 2 transfers, and we just killed it. Like, we did super good as far as like Spain went. Like, I wouldn't compare it to South American missionaries, but like as far as Spain went, we had a super good 3 months. Like, things were going well in the ward. Like, we were getting people to church, baptizing people, teaching a lot of lessons, finding people. And then he finished his mission, and so I got a new companion, and I was just pumped. Like, and this new missionary, as soon as he got there, he's like, I've been hearing all these great things about this area. Like, it's booming, and I'm super excited just to keep killing it. And then it just, like, everything nosedived. Like, we didn't change what we were doing. We were still doing the same thing as a week ago, 2 weeks ago, when we were having a bunch of success. But it just tanked. And I was super frustrated, and just like praying, like, why is it so sucky right now? Like, why is the work so slow? And I don't remember like how the revelation came, like whether it was during personal studies or in church or whatever, but I just remember like I was getting cocky. Like, I was forgetting how important the Lord's hand in it was, and I was thinking like, I'm a good missionary. Like, I know the language well, I know these lessons, like I'm good with the scriptures, like I can do this. So I think the Lord, I know that he knew that I needed to be humbled, and so I think that was one of the biggest lessons, and something that I still apply today, that as good as I get at something, like I'm still pretty insignificant, and there's still a long ways to go, and especially like compared to God, like we're nothing, but with him we can do all things, whatever he needs us to do. It was in my second area with my third companion, and we might have been on exchanges, so he might not have been there, but I stayed in the area, and some appointments fell through, so we decided to go knock a building just to go see what we could find. And so we knocked on one door, and like it was my turn to present ourselves, and I had a pamphlet in my hand. And so first of all, I'm not sure how this guy opened the door, but he opened the door, and like first thing I did is went to hand him a pamphlet, but this guy didn't have any arms. So like he just kind of looked at me like an idiot, like, what do you want me to do with that? Like, you want me to use my arm that I don't have to grab this? And so like I saw that and just kind of was like a deer in the headlights and didn't know what to do. So it was a super awkward like 5-second silence while I was trying to hand an armless man a pamphlet, and then my companion took over, and so I just felt like an idiot, but it was super funny after. The first thing that I would do is jump in the sea. For like 16 out of the 24 months, I was serving in a coastal city, and it just eats at you. Like, you just see people going down to the beach all the time, and you're just like, one day. So I would definitely jump in the sea. That'd be the first thing. And the second thing would just pig out on Spanish food while visiting members. First thing I would do if I went back to visit like the mission, go to ward activities. In Spain, most of the wards I served in would do family night like as a ward. just because individual members sometimes had a hard time doing that on their own. So going to those activities, just seeing the ward, seeing where it's at, after I've been back 8.5 months. So just seeing how it's changed, who's still there, who is new, progress people have made, just catching up.